Hello again, Strickcop. Welcome back to the build making kitchen. Welcome to where I make my builds. I just need to share my browser just a second to put it on the screen. Today I will be doing one vast theory crafting stream before Diablo 4 launches. I have 3 more builds that I'm planning to release, so I have a total of 25 ready for launch releases that I've made after getting some experience, some hands-on experience in the beta. Out of those, I've made 22. So the remaining 3 builds, we will theorycraft them right now on this stream. There is a remaining one for the druid, for the rogue, and for the barbarian. Of course, I'm using some of the. Just a moment, my pet is asking me for food. I'd rather give him food now. Um, and later, when I'm in the middle of thinking about some stuff, when theory crafting. So of course I will be going back to the polls when I asked you to vote about which builds to prioritize. For some of the classes, there are some builds left on those polls that I need to look into when deciding what to theory craft. But overall, I've covered almost everything. Almost everything from the old setups has been revisited one way or another, except maybe 2-3 builds. And um, where were those posts? Just a moment. So for barbarian, we have the Bladestorm, Butcher, and Jaguar done. The one that is missing in those posts, since YouTube only allows for, is the Angry Berserker. I might make an Angry Berserker, but I'll start with the Druid with the Lycan Vasserator. Um, it was the least voted, so again, it gets its turn last. I've already made a bunch of, well, not a bunch of, but some builds that are not, that were new, that were fresh, and that weren't made before the beta. To, as a secondary thing, now between Shadow Step and Shadow Trapper and Cold Step, Shadow Trapper, I'll have to not make a second build for Shadow Trapper right now. It's not as voted as Cold Step. Although I might decide to ignore the code step vote. It's very close vote there, probably 1 vote difference, and go for the Shadow Trapper because I still haven't made a trap build. I've made a bunch of code builds, and I'm thinking of making the Shadow Trapper actually a Poison Trapper build. Um, because I'm lacking a heavily influenced by poison setup for all of the other, and I'm lacking a trapper setup. So maybe code step I would ignore, and maybe eventually I could revisit it sometime after launch. So let's say we'll make the Lycan Lacerator, the new version of it, the new Shadow Trapper, which still would use Death Trap but won't be Shadow, so it might be Poison Trapper. I might rename it. It won't be a Shadow Trapper 2.0, maybe. We'll see. Because again, cannot imbue that trap apparently. And then we'll revisit probably the Angry Berserker. We'll see about that. So first things first, Druid. Druid is the priority fella, and the Viken Lacerator, as I mentioned, is what we wanna rework. Should I use Rocky? Let's just use Rocky as a base, even though it's completely off place. Duplicate. Yeah, last 3 remaining builds. Hope you have fun watching me make those. Second, I need to do something here. Okay, there we go. So while I do have the Mad Dog, which is a werewolf built with poison, I do not have a Viken Lacerator 2.0 until now, and now I will make it. I will make one where I'm ignoring the whole poison rabies kind of get your minions as well as werewolves and stuff like that. And I'll be focusing purely on the werewolf skills for damage and ignore the minion related stuff and things like that. So if you remember the original Wyken Lacerator, it was kind of that. It was mostly werewolf, only werewolf skills. There are some things I would use this time around. Let me first open up the old Wyken Lacerator. Maybe it was one of the first. There we go. It was actually the first druid build I made back in the day. And the old Wyken Lacerator, the old Wyken Lacerator was Quo Shred. It was using Vine Creeper, mind you, and Lacerate. And it was using Rabies. But this time around, I'm gonna ignore the whole poison thing. Because I have Mad Dog. Mad Dog is good for a poison related setup. What we need to decide first, we definitely don't need this. Definitely don't need that. We will do the werewolf is your true form item. Let's decide on the unique items first. So we could go storm a werewolf with this one. It would be interesting. Quo is a storm skill and it also casts storm strike, but I already have one build like that, so definitely don't want another build like that. This one is nice. Gain stealth for 2 seconds when killing enemies with shred, breaking stealth when an attack grants ambush which guarantees crit strikes. And 4 ranks to shred. I'm thinking of maybe going heavy into the basic attack damage. And well, we'll still have Lacerate as the ultimate. But I'm thinking of maybe going for let me just open the build calculator, by the way. I'm thinking of heavily investing into things like Whoa. Or I think there was a thing that makes Mo a werewolf skill. We'll see. Although, yeah, investing into Quo would be interesting and going for the basic attack. But didn't I do that with the other one, with the Mad Dog? Let me just revisit quickly the Mad Dog Theorycraft to see what I had there. Mad Dog, Mad Dog, Mad Dog, Dog. For the Mad Dog, did I go basic? No, I went, I focused on Shred. Okay. And then I remember one of those, I went basic attack, but I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Stormward. Yeah, with Stormward, I went into Quo and basic attack. Okay, let's do this one a little different. Maybe we can just focus on Shred. Um, we'll see. We'll see. There are things to consider. First of all, of course, is the unique items. So waxing gibbous is nice. Waxing gibbous, I definitely want that in the build. And it's a one-hand attack, meaning it allows for an offhand, which is one extra aspect. Lovely, lovely thing. Now, gain a bonus when you kill with a shape-shifting skill. For werewolf, your next ultimate werebear skill costs no resource and has no cooldown. For werebear, your next werewolf skill will heal you. Okay. Overpower crit damage. This is for a hybrid werewolf werebear. I'm not sure I want to do that. I could go again for Tempest Roar. It will fit nicely. The series player, definitely not for us. Mad Wolf's Glee. Mad Wolf's Glee is definitely something we want on the Lycan Lacerator. If we do take Wolf Companions, but we don't take the one that that makes them werewolves, we could go for Storm. But again, I already have the Mad the Mad Dog build. The Mad Dog build, this have companions, werewolf companions actually. I don't want to repeat much of the stuff I've done. So Mad Wolf's Glee is a must-have, although we won't go for the poison in this one. We're just taking this for the 2 ranks to werewolf skills. And I definitely need Tempest Roar, because I'll be using Hurricane again for the Storm Shifter aspect. So Hurricane Storm Shifter together with Tempest Roar. Let me just wait. And we definitely have the Shaco for us. So Mother's Embrace probably not the best for this setup. I'll put another ring here, probably. It doesn't have to be a ring. I'll put another thing. There are certain things that could work well. Andario's Visage, nice, but it's more for a poison build. Although attack speed and lifesteal do seem extremely pleasing for a werewolf build, even if we don't go for the poison. And this one we actually synergize the poison nova well with the Mad Wolf's Glee poison damage increase and the introduction from poisoned enemies. So I really wanted to use Andario's Visage in some sort of a druid build, and maybe that would be the build for it. Even though again I'm not going for poison, it would have fit better in the Mad Dog build. This one is also interesting. Fist of Fate would be very fun on this build, maybe. Although this one definitely implies it will be best on a melee fast attack rogue build, considering that it has daze damage and stuff like that. Um, Something that could work amazingly well is freeze. We don't have that many synergies for freeze. We don't have any synergies with freeze, but having chances to freeze enemies is pretty fun. Um, from a unique item, even on a build that doesn't do freezing. Movement speed. This one would be pretty fun for the movement speed. There's crowd control, duration, cold resistance. All right, let's start building the skills. I'll pick some more items later. First of all, we are going for Quo. And we're not going for the poisoning this time around. Again, this time we're doing something different. We don't want to go into poison again. This time we are avoiding the poison, like the plague. But again, not because poison is bad, just because I already have a poison build with werewolf. There was an item that makes debilitating roar a werewolf skill, if I'm not mistaken. I could consider that one. Do I have other ways to make enemies vulnerable? In both of those are great, but let's take the vulnerable this time around. We will need other ways to make enemies vulnerable though. Mm, yeah, it's lacerate build. Obviously, we want the lacerate here. Um, I do want fortify as much of it as I can, even though it's not a werebear or earth build. I still think fortify would be pretty nice. Um, I'll see if there was something that lets us take advantage of some earth skills, becoming werewolf or something like that, or some. We'll see. We'll see. Um, let's go to the druid items and pick some of them. I'm gonna start with the defensive ones, maybe. I definitely want the vigorous aspect. Needless to say, it's too good to miss out on. Stalking Beast, I think Stalking Beast was turned into this legend and this unique item. I think Stalking Beast is no longer in the game as an aspect, and they made it the Waxing Gibbous. The Waxing Gibbous, where was it? This one. Yeah, they made it that way, so it doesn't exist anymore. Okay, just a note if someone gets confused there. So what do I have copied? Also, are you seeing my notepad? You're not seeing my notepad, but you don't need to see it yet. In any case, on my but you haven't decided fully on everything we want to use. Um, we have plenty of points to decide where to spend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can have one more active skill. I'll decide which one it is in a moment. Um, Not sure if we can take advantage of this. But let's say there will be skills that would switch us back to human form. I'm not sure if this item here, the Tempest Roar, I'm not sure if this one When we have Tempest Roar, whether casting a Storm skill would retain the werewolf form or still switches back to human. So we can switch back to werewolf after it. Hopefully it switches back to human. Hopefully. Even though it counts as a werewolf skill. It doesn't mention anything regarding that, and I haven't tested things like those to know how it is. I do know um, about Grizzly Rage. Um, I do know that when you have the item that makes Grizzly Rage a werewolf skill, you actually shapeshift into the werewolf form. Where was it? There was something about it. Werewolf skills function as storm skills and werebear skills as earth skills for the nature's tricky passive. See, this is nice for a hybrid werewolf werebear build. I might make one such eventually. I wonder if you have this one for werewolf skills and werebear skills, and then you have this thing, debilitating roar is now werewolf skill. It doesn't say also a werewolf skill, so it just I think I've used this one before, and I think it immediately converts it from werebear to werewolf, and you take the werewolf form rather than the werebear form when you use it. But there was something similar for Grizzly Rage, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Grizz. I might have been confusing it with that one though. I might have been confusing it with the debilitating roar. Okay. Let's look for werewolf stuff first, so I don't miss out on anything. See this one again. I need to add a note. What's the name of that item? Okay, let's see. Just a moment. Okay, yeah. I was just testing if the mic is working. So I could do debilitating roar. I was thinking about debilitating roar in the first place. Not a fan of this poisoned synergy there, because again, I already have a poison synergy setup. Don't want another one. But what was this one? Ability. Yeah, let's get debilitating roar. I think it will help with survivability and stuff. Does it give 45? I can't remember if it gives 45 or just the damage reduction debuff to the enemies nearby. There is 45. Perfect. It also heals. Again, Earthen Bulwark is amazing, but I don't want to take Earthen Bulwark in every build. So I gotta think of stuff. Again, since we're not going for the obvious poison synergy, um, should I go back for that one item, the Andario's Visage? But again, we already have two different helmets. Switching to Andario's Visage won't be nice. We have this one here, Tempest Roar, and then we have the Harlequin's Crest. Tempest Roar is not a must-have, but it will make Hurricane give itself 2 extra ranks, so there is that to consider. And thanks to the Storm Shifter. But the Shake, on the other hand, is permanently 2 ranks to all skills. So yeah, this one would be, I guess, my priority over that one. Then the Waxing Gibbous, I wanted to put that, I forgot. Moment. Waxing Gibbous goes here. I think I'm gonna keep it simple for the uniques. I don't wanna make a build of only uniques. People would be overwhelmed trying to collect 10, 10 uniques. So, while there are some good things that we can consider on this side here that are suitable for all classes, such as, for example, the Butcher's Cleaver. Solid. And again, there is the Melted Heart of Selic, Mother's Embrace. Mother's Embrace won't work that well. I think Starless Skies also could work pretty nicely. Again, a Darius Visage, I said, pretty solid for the attack speed and the life steal. And then there's the Poison Nova, which can trigger certain things for us. Temerity could work nicely though. But again, Barrier not that big of a focus. I think we should focus on some legendary items now. I still haven't figured out the remaining skill points though. I definitely want this one. Yeah, lightning rather than poison could be a nice focus for this one. That's what we will go for. Lightning werewolf, the storm wolf. Okay, so there's plenty of lightning stuff here. AoE. So we will be doing single target damage bursts with our skills. But there will be some AoE from procs happening. Hmm. Just checking. If you use this one, that means your Bloodhound could generate more spirit. but also your basic skill can generate more spirit and do more damage. As a temporary thing, we could maybe use it until a unique drops or something like that. Um, it won't be a bad decision, I think. Mm, next. There isn't that much more that I might want, so let's go to the something else here. Up to 50% here, and it was up to it was up to 50% here. Where was the other one? This one, up to 40% for this one. But I think I'll take accelerating. And I could consider a rapid. But since there isn't that much room, I think let's just take accelerating. And maybe expectant. Also, retaliation isn't bad either. Yeah, retaliation could be a better option because I don't have to do that much basic attack stuff with retaliation being the thing. Well, whether it's retaliation or expectant, either way is good, but I have to pick only one of them. Maybe smiting aspect. Increase damage against injured enemies. This is not bad, but again, the crowd control duration won't to do wonders with me with that setup because we don't have much crowd control, do we? Maybe just swaths here and there. Let's double check again. We could get swath from here, but not sure I want it. More healing from Bloodhowl, I don't think it's a bad idea. This one only reduces the cooldown, so I'd rather have it as level 1. You have 4 points to spend. This one at least 1 point for the proc. We only have one nature magic skill, and that's Hurricane. Um, I still don't know how it will work. Whether when I switch, when I make Hurricane also count as a werewolf skill, as a shape shifting skill, whether I would actually shift my shape. from this one item. Whether it would switch me to a werewolf or whether it will remain human shape, even though it counts as a werewolf skill. Hopefully it does, because otherwise those points here, at least this one, won't be useful. Because we want to be shape-shifting at least back and forth when using one of the skills. Those last remaining points, I could leave them hanging and let people decide where they want to spend them. Or just put them over here. So Hurricane can have even more chances of making enemies vulnerable. Wasn't there something that makes trampo? Let me check. I think there was a trampo item, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's for landslide and trampo. Okay. So trampo being nature, magic, and third skill. Yeah, this is not for this build. I still like smiting for the extra damage to injured. Crit strike chance, I mean, to injured. But do we even need that much crit chance? Inner Calm. Inner Calm might work nicely while standing still, but I'm still kind of thinking of just going for retaliation. I'll lean in I'll lean in towards the fortify the build some more. Okay, I think we're done with the aspects. I need to arrange them now. I need to arrange those aspects in place. Wait, what was ballistic? I think it was the extra werebear stuff. Okay, so first off, let's arrange those, and after that we'll figure out ways to work in the unique items inside. Since we have two helmets, I actually need to only think about the weapon, the helmet, and the chest. What goes where, so it doesn't get removed. Storm Shifter, we'll put in the gloves most likely. I could put Night Hour or Exploiter. Night Hour or Exploiter could go into the amulet. Let's see what we want in the amulet. We could get that extra crit chance for 6 seconds or 3 for our allies, being 50% more than 5 to 10. Or we could get the Exploiter 20 to 50% increased damage to unstoppable enemies to become 30, 75. And I think this might be the better option there for us. Alternatively, we can get this 2 ranks to become 3 ranks. If we put it in the amulet, that means when we have Hurricane active, we would get 3 ranks to our skills, to our shapeshifting / werewolf skills, including um, including Hurricane itself if we are using this helmet, although again I'd rather use that helmet because it's permanent 2 ranks to all skills. And some cooldown reduction, which we definitely want, as well as life and all the good stuff it gives. Um, Sounds also nice, but yeah, I think the best thing for there would be the exploiters aspect. Means this is empty to go. Let's put Storm Shifter there, so we can have the gloves empty for an offensive SWAT, for an offensive thingy. Night Howler in Ring 1 doesn't seem like a bad place to put it. Things that we won't be rotating with uniques, rather put them there first. We will also not be rotated because we don't have a ring unique, but I could rotate it and remove it and put something else here later. For weapon 1, what do I want to get rid of? Probably retaliation is something I'll get rid of eventually. After I get the unique axe. I won't fix this. I'll just moment. I won't fix all this text, what gets removed and so on. Um, so in the helmet, I definitely want something temporary. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe this one. Permanent, so goes to the pants. So now the only stuff that we'll be sacrificing would be helmet, chest. In the chest, definitely not storm shifter. Oh, wait. That's not gonna work that way, is it? Maybe I'll have to get rid of this one. Or get rid of one of the offensive ones. Let's arrange them and see how it will go. If I wanna put Storm Quo in the offhand. Actually, let's put it in the gloves. Storm Quo in the gloves. Then in the offhand, accelerating maybe, or overcharged. I think overcharge is something we can get rid of. One got messed up again with that stupid bug. I really hate that Google bug that fucks up my text. I have to do it manually. But yeah, I'm thinking this one is one of the items, one of the aspects that it's okay to sacrifice. It won't matter much with or without it. In terms of losing the essence of the build of what it's about. So this one could go. It could go into. If I put it in the gloves, it means I can rotate. I can rotate one of the one of the non-offensive things here. That means that Stormquo needs to go elsewhere. Actually, since Stormquo is here, we are fine, I think. Overcharged there, and overcharged. Until the unique chest goes there. And I'll be using... I'll be using Stormshifter in the chest, and Stormshifter... Well, let's use Exploiter here. So Exploiter goes in the chest until you get the unique one, and then goes in the amulet slot after that. And then... What should I put? Retaliation. I've got accelerating. Accelerating might be what I keep in the amulet. Yeah, another thing that got fucked up by the Google bot. Whatever. Fucking hate this bug. It makes my work much longer than it needs to be because Google can't fucking fix their stupid software. So I need to decide what goes in the amulet temporarily and then gets moved after we get the chest armor so that Exploiter can go there. But for now, Exploiter needs to be in the chest because they're just there isn't anything else I can put there other than the yellow or the green stuff. I could put Night Hour there and then move Night Hour here. It will be a long rotation. So this one gets removed. This one goes here. I'll have something red there, and this red thing goes there. Let's go for attack speed. And with this, we should have everything in place. This one has a place. This one has a place. One has a place. This one. This one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now, final form of this would be... Oh, I still have 2 points to spend. Fuck. I could just leave those 2 points up to whoever wants it to decide what to do with it. That way. I think it works nicely to focus on that. So we do have overcharged retaliation, rating, and Tonko and Night Hour. Let's see. Night Hour I'm missing here. Overcharged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Mad Wolf's Glee. Waxing Gibbous. Vigorous. There's Exploiter. Stormshifter. Dark How. Crest. Tempest Roar. So ideally I would have the Shaku here. I prefer Shaku over Tempest Roar. So Retaliation, Stormquo. Actually no, wait. I think I'm losing this when I get the one-handed axe and Retaliation goes there. Because what else am I gonna lose? Let's first sort those things there. So Exploiter should go into the amulet. Make it clear so I don't forget later. So Exploiter goes in the amulet eventually. In the main hand we do have Waxing Gibbous. And we do have the Mad Wolf's Glee here. So that's our 3 uniques. Then Exploiter. Then on the Guoffs, we would have Accelerating. Fence, obviously the vigorous aspect. Ring 2. Maybe this still. Night Hour, Ring 1 seems to be a constant there. Boot Storm Shifter, a constant as well. And so for the offhand, I gotta decide Retaliation or Storm Quo. What I'll do is Unsatiated gets removed and Retaliation goes there, so I can keep Stormquo and Retaliation. Because I do want to do that lightning damage to trigger certain things, so I don't rely on just my Hurricane for lightning damage. And while Overcharge seems a little underwhelming, Stormquo doesn't, and Stormquo is perfect to just keep it. So okay, this one gets removed. But we put Retaliation there, and Stormquo remains on the offhand. And this is what it would look like eventually. Now let me save this one. Save, share URL, and we can work on the paragons now before moving on to the next build. Yeah, let's save it over here. Temporary. Paragon wise, let me quickly get some information from my previous stuff. Just copy pasting some stuff that will be useful to us later. And I'll share my screen in a moment. Well, not my screen, but part of it. And the text the text editor I'm using, I'll share it in a second. Just copy pasting some stuff that we could use. Okay, I think it's in a good state now. I copy pasted some of those Paragon board related infos that I showed you last time when well in the one before it when I was theory crafting. Now, how do I share this? Okay, this is the Sublime. Not sure if you see everything. Do you see everything? Oh, you don't see everything. I need to do it that way. This way you see everything. Not sure if it's readable, but I hope it is. Okay, so this will remain there on the screen for you to see. I'll try to not cover much of the useful stuff with in that corner. As you can see, this is some information from when we were making the previous druid build. Mm, and it would be useful, so I don't have to count what's in which board again. Let me check if I can get some more information from even before that. Okay. Whichever is repeating, I'm not keeping here. Just want to have the information. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is all boards, all 9 boards, and the amount of stats they give me. Okay. I'll have to decide. First, I want to pick the sockets I'll be using for this build, and eventually I can pick my boards based on those sockets. Oh, now I see a bigger. This is what I wanted to see. For this is a great update. For good thing for the guy and for Watrick to do that. I would rather see much more on the screen when I'm in this screen than before. This is so much better. Good job, Watrick. Good job. Needed quality of life here. Exploit. Okay. You can quote fulminate. Fulminate. Let me go back to the Stormward and copy some more stuff from it. Stormward, where is Stormward? So fulminate, definitely. Considering having fulminate there. Wait, that's in the wrong place, isn't it? So fulminate is dex. It's not gonna be high priority though. Guesswork maybe. I could consider it. Human, not really a big fan of it. But human slash werewolf. I could start with human slash werewolf. I guess the important stuff I've already added there. That list. Just wanted to add fulminate, I guess. Okay. Yeah, let's do werewolf slash human for the beginning, I think. Because it's a willpower board. And first of all, I want to dominate in an int board, which is the best int board we can get. Inner beast and yeah, inner beast is potentially my dominate board. Alternatively, ancestral guidance. Then I definitely want spirit, which is a dex board thingy. So for dex, my best dex is this one, 40, no, those two, 49. 49. Oh, there is another int board that we can take. A moment. Dominate, this is also a possibility. So two top tier, one slightly worse with dominate. For spirit one, wait, spirit was dex. Why? Oh yeah, 49, 49. Is there another good choice? I mean, another good choice might be alternatively this one, but this is 75 willpower. Probably not that great. So human werewolf is probably what I'll do here. I think I'll just start with human slash werewolf and tell people put whatever you feel like there. This one is too good to waste it on that one. Let me decide which boards. There was one board that is easy to reach, the legendary of, and the rest weren't. Which one is the one with the easy to reach legendary? Wait, don't tell me the werewolf doesn't have a single one with an easy to reach legendary. Yeah. Oh no, there it is, there it is. What's for Carnage? Oh, perfect. So What's for Carnage is a must have for us because it's only 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points from the cluster to this one. Unlike some other boards where you spend 10, 15, or even 20. Like, look at this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, this one is probably also 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20. And this one is probably 20 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, I think 20. Maybe I miscounted one. And this one seems to also be 20. On the other hand, we have this one, which is probably 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this one is 10. This one is also 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this one is 20 from the looks of it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, not so bad, but okay. We definitely take What's for Carnage. And What's for Carnage, thankfully, is good for Dominate, so we can take Dominate early. This could be our board number 3. But we want a good dex board for the core skill damage as board number 2 after the starting. So in here I'm swatting Werewolf. And before you get the Mad Wolf's Glee, you might swat in... yeah, actually Werewolf is good. Werewolf is good. Human could go there, but I'd rather swat Werewolf. So might even fucking remove Human from the suggestion. And Survival Instincts is not gonna be the Werewolf, for sure. So it might be Spirit, or something else for willpower, which again, there isn't anything that great for willpower. Do we even need Survival Instincts in the first place? I'm not picking the boards because of the legendary, except that was for Carnage, so there is that to consider. Yeah, Survival Instincts, it's probably not even gonna be used. 44 dex is nice, but we've got other places with 49. So Heightened Malice and Constricting Tendrils. Which one would work better for me? And by the way, for West for Carnage, we have already decided it's gonna be my int board. Let me just swap this one in here so I can see. Okay. And will be for Dominate. Heightened Malice and Constricting Tendrils. Definitely not looking for the damage to poison stuff of this board, so I might not go for it. Which one is Constricting Tendrils? This one. Nature Magic skill damage, not looking forward to it much. But there's good decks here. Which else has decent decks? Like maybe not 49, but 44 in Survival Instincts, which was the werebear stuff. Definitely don't want to go there. Let's look what's around here. Nature Magic skill damage. Not that good for us, right? Ancestral Guidance, on the other hand, has some core skill stuff, has some physical stuff. Ancestral Guidance is 39 decks. This would mean if I were to use Ancestral Guidance, I'm losing almost 20% crit damage. Twice 20, so almost 40% crit damage with core skills, which might be a big loss. Here I just need to take the life if I ignore the nature damage, nature magic skill damage. But nature magic skill damage is not bad because we do have one nature magic skill, and that's our hurricane. We do have a lot of lightning damage, but that lightning damage is from procs, so most likely it doesn't count as nature magic skill damage since it doesn't come from a skill. But maybe it's still worth taking those. So I think this one would be it for us, opposed to this one, because in order to get this, we're taking damage to poisoned, and again, I'm not going poisoned with this werewolf build. For the sake of them being different between the Mad Dog and this one. Inner Beast, how much dex is it? 34. It's better for int Inner Beast. And what other int do I have? Guzber and Undaunted. Undaunted probably is what we'll take there. Um, what else is good for Undaunted? We also need to find a board for Territorial. Did I put it in was for Carnage? I think I did. Dominate, so we don't need Dominate here. So in this one, I said I'm putting the core skills, which was called Spirit. So this would be board number 2. And this one is board number 3. Board number 4. After we get the crit damage and the overpower damage, we probably want to get the damage to vulnerable or damage to close enemies. So territorial is dex, and again for territorial and dex, we would need wait, spirit went into constricting tendrils, right? So okay. Survival instincts is possible. This one is possible. Thunderstruck is possible. I mean, yeah, I'll lose 20%, almost 20% damage to close enemies, but we're getting interesting bonuses around there. And the other one I might want is Exploit from this list. Wherever Territorial goes, so this Exploit is a possibility. Let me look around Thunderstruck again. It's losing me 2 points, to 2 times the bonus, so is it gonna be worth it? Ventilation from vulnerable, storm skill damage. We only have one storm skill. But then there's the very close by crit damage and damage to crowd controlled. Certain devastation is definitely out of the consideration. There isn't that much stuff worth considering with Earth and Devastation. Earth and Devastation gets the excess. For sure. I'm not gonna even consider that one. Survival Instincts. Also gets the excess. Good dex in it. And good willpower, but not worth the sacrifices. So this one, I might still have to do it. I might still have to take damage to poisoned enemies. And this willpower damage to poisoned enemies just for this dex on the board. But the rest of the stuff, again, poison synergies, not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of it for this build specifically. So it might be just quick dip and dash, maybe taking the damage to elites. You only require one damage to poisoned enemies as a sacrifice, so not so bad. And again, some people might want to rework this build and use Vine Creeper. instead of the second defensive skill, instead of using what was it called, challenging, not challenging, moment, keep forgetting the name of this defensive werebear skill that we're converting into a werewolf skill, a debilitating roar. So yeah, some people might wanna, instead of taking debilitating roar, to get either rabies or vine creeper. I didn't wanna do it. I didn't wanna do it because I'm using those in the other werewolf build. But for that, this could work well, the poison stuff. Let's check this one here. One was ancestral guidance, and ancestral guidance will have to play a big role. So let's say I do take heightened malice, which where was it? Let's say I take heightened malice for territorial or exploit. Let's take it for territorial, and then just dip and dash, and not to take anything else from it, except maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 here later on. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. 6 points just to get. It's total 10 points for damage to elite 6.5, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, another 16. So 22.5 damage to elites doesn't seem to be worth it. 10 points. So this one would be dip and dash, and this would be board number 4. Board number 4, territorial. And then board number 5 will be exploit, which means thunderstruck, most likely. Alternatively, survival instincts. Yeah, probably. What's ancestral guidance's dex? Ancestral guidance is 39 dex as well. So ancestral guidance might be the better option there. So survival instincts, it's just I don't think it has that many good bonuses around it, around the cluster. What do we have? Damage reduction while fortified, overpower, werebear. Yeah, we decided not this one. So this one gets removed here. We already decided this one takes territorial. So void remains as an option to those two. And we probably would skip Undaunted from the build because there won't be room for it. Which one was I looking at? Ancestral Guidance or Thunderstruck? Ancestral Guidance has great bonuses like core skill damage bonus, and then spirit bonuses, and again more core skill damage and basic skill damage. Whereas Thunderstruck is mostly nature skill, storm skill damage stuff. But the crit strike damage is incredible here. We get 15 plus 15 crit strike damage, and then another 15. So that's what, 2 times 30, that's 67.5 crit damage over here we can get. There's some more over there, but that would be tough to reach. With the other one, instead of crit damage, we get core skill damage, which is just as good, and you don't even have to crit to get that bonus. But it's a smaller number. It's what, 28, 35. 35 core skill damage here. With the potential to get, what would this board be? Dex? Is it Dex? Dex? Dex board. With the potential to easily get some more core skill damage, and that would be 7, 21 more. So it was 35. Yeah, that's 76 core skill damage I can get from just this and that. And then there's the maximum spirit and life and spirit on Q over here, which eventually we could take with feeling. But let me look at the other feeling stuff I could take from the other boards. I guess I'll look at it later. Let's start building now. The usual way. I take one would be a willpower board, so we'll come back for this and that willpower later. Second board was constructing tendrils. And this one is easy. You have to see which way to exit. For in any case, it would be 6 points to exit. Now the dominate board was inner beast. No, it was for carnage. Oh, it's even rotated in a nice way, I think. I'll check. I think I might keep this rotation because there's attack speed and stuff here which we might want to take later. The next one was territorial, if I'm not mistaken, which is heightened malice. Needs to be rotated. Way. Do I take this int or do I take the damage to poison? So int might be more useful because it might be needed for certain things. Some people might prefer damage to poison depending on how they handle that, whether they use the the buff skill, the werebear buff skill, or whether they go for something that poisons. And here we just need to exit to the next port, but the last board was Thunderstruck, right? Or was it Ancestral Guidance? I can't remember. Which one did I pick? I picked Ancestral Guidance, maybe? Actually, I didn't pick anything yet, but I think Ancestral Guidance is the better one anyways. Let's put Exploit there. And let's connect it. Exploit was Dex, right? Yeah. I guess we have to approach from here. Okay. Let's save it at this point. This would be the first stage of the setup. Stage number 1 is done. Stage number 2 is about filling. Over here we need to fill that way, and then that way, and we can dip into those. 1, 2, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need to spend 9 points for. I don't know if it's worth it. 9 points for 22 damage to elites. What's my current damage to elites from these three? 22.5, and I can get another 22.5, but 9 points doesn't seem as rewarding to me. An investment. Mm. Although there doesn't seem to be anything else better to take, to be honest. And there is nature magic skill damage, which could work well to increase the damage of hurricane. If the lightning damage from procs doesn't count as nature magic skill damage, by procs I mean things like this one and that one, and this one will be there in the build, even in the final form of the build. So this lightning damage, would it count as nature magic skill if it doesn't come from a nature magic skill? Even though it's lightning, it's not from a skill and it's not nature magic. Mm, this is something that I guess will have to be tested. So let's just go for this one here first. You can go for some spirit bonuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And since we're dipping already this far away, we might as well try and get the ancestral guidance. It's not terrible bonuses for ancestral guidance. Ah, 1 point, 1 fucking point. Actually, 2 points. 2 points. I can remove this spirit. Not necessary. This HP not necessary. Something like this. Now we can take the spirit on Q with the remaining 2 points. Or I can just let people decide with the last 2 points where to spend them, because there's some options like there's healing received, there's dex if it's needed to patch up something. There's maximum spirit bonuses nearby. There's nature magic Q damage, and this 10 willpower again, something people might want that willpower to just unlock the bonuses of something like this that requires willpower, or this that requires dex and stuff like that. So we do have some bonuses that people could take here and there. So I'm gonna leave those last 2 points for people to decide about. I do think we picked good stuff though. Yeah, let me save this. And next we can move on to the rogue build, which might be the shadow trapper, which will turn into a poison trapper. So alchemist or something like that. We'll see. But it will be shadow and poison. Let me save over here. Just to test it's working. Okay. Yeah, this one's done. Shadow Trapper 2.0. This time we'll be focusing less on the shadow, more on the poison. So it might not even be Shadow Trapper 2.0. It could be something similar, but since we cannot imbue the trap, as I originally thought when I made the Shadow Trapper, it might be the Acid Trapper. Acid Trapper. This sounds like some sort of um, some electronic music kind of producer, the acid trapper, making trap music with acid elements in it. Okay, let me go rogue, copy paste arrow storm. Maybe acid trapper. First of all, I want to look at some things before I even decide to do stuff. Like the original Shadow Trapper build, if we look at it, what do we see there? It was actually my first made build for the Rogue, for before the beta started, the first two betas. I was using Blade Shift, Fury, Caltrops, I was using Poison Trap, and I was using Imbue Weapon Shadow and Death Trap, which I thought back at the time that it was imbuable, but now I do know it isn't. So it was someone spreading misinformation and, and me getting misled by this. But if I remember correctly, it was not imbuable. Let me double check this. Just a moment, I need to go to my archive with video recordings. I remember where the hell did I put this. Okay, going into Diablo 4 rows from open beta. Just a moment. When did I play the rogue? And the one with the trap is the one I'm interested in. Part 3, part 4. Let's say part 4. That's not the right one. I played mostly Necro and Druid during the second beta. Okay, let's look for the first one. I didn't save the part 1, 2, and 3. I only saved part 4 and 5 downloaded. So there might not be enough. But I know there is one one um one section of it where I'm playing rogue with shadow trap and fury and stuff. It definitely ain't that one. It's not that one. I just want to confirm with the shadow trap whether it was in Biobo again with the death trap. This seems to be it. Let's go to the part where I'm changing the skills and when I'm hovering over death trap. Okay, I'm almost there. Yeah, I'm not seeing the imbuable. Fair enough. Fair enough about this. Acid trapper it is. Yeah, it will be acid trapper for sure. I've got some interesting ideas about something like that, and I will still use flurry. I will still use maybe invigorating strike. Originally, I was using blade shift, but I'll see. There's a lot of ways you can go with that. First of all, death trap is probably my favorite ultimate. So I'm happy to be going back to the trapper build. It's just not gonna be shadow trapper. Shadow Trapper just not as fun as Poison, not as good of a synergy as Poison, but Shadow has its own bonuses. Just by itself, inflicting them with Shadow and them exploding because of the way Shadow Imbue works. If you look at Shadow Imbue, infecting the enemies, and infected enemies explode on death, dealing damage to surrounding enemies. And if the infection expires before they die, it will deal damage only to that enemy. This by itself is pretty solid argument to still try and go Shadow Imbue instead of Poison Imbue with a trap build. There is still reasons to want to do it. And having Shadow and by the way, actually, I might still keep it Shadow Trapper because I just remembered there are those alchemist aspects that require you to use one type of damage against enemies affected by another type of damage. For example, poison and shield. There was probably one with shadow and shield, shadow and poison. This is it. Toxic alchemist. So damaging a poison enemy with a shadow imbued skill. This is what we want. And it doesn't have to be a shadow skill. It must be shadow imbued, which means we're poisoning enemies with our poison trap. But we are imbuing ourselves with shadow for flurry, and I'll still keep it Shadow Trapper 2.0. Acid Trapper will come sometime after the launch, but I think it's just too good of a synergy to miss such an opportunity. And you guys voted for Shadow Trapper. You actually voted, one person more voted for Code Step 2.0, but I can only make one more build before the launch for Rogue. I'll still have 5 for each class, 25 total builds. So I think we've done good job with those. How many? What are the builds we made? We made the Volatile Rogue 2.0, I think. Where is it? Yeah, I started with Volatile 2.0. Then I made Dark Ice, which was a new one, inspired by some of those aspects. Then I did Icy Hunter, too much ice. And there was the Arrow Storm 2.0, which was again ice. Um, Kind of sucks that I didn't make a single one with poison imbue, but or maybe volatile. Was volatile poison imbue? It was shadow. Well, this one will have poison, just shadow imbue. So Shadow Trapper 2.0. Let's go for the skills first. I kind of have an idea. The original Shadow Trapper, if you remember, was using Blade Shift. I'm not sure I want to use Blade Shift now. Probably Invigorating Strike would be nice. I really loved using Invigorating Strike when I played the game. But then there's Puncture, pretty solid. Let's first decide on the key passive. What key passive do I want to use? Originally, the OG Shadow Trapper was using Exposure, which is definitely what would go well. Um, yeah, Exposure is the obvious choice, although there are other ways to make it work. This one could also work nicely. Victimize. PQC could work nicely as well. Um, Even Momentum could work in an interesting way. But yeah, I've kind of Invigorating strike it is. Either of those is good. I'm not sure which one to take. Let's take this one, but people could always swap out 1 point if they don't find it satisfactory. Stutter step could work nicely, but I'll go sturdy first. Hmm. There is something interesting. If I go for the chew, I can have toxic and icy alchemist. This is an extremely important thing that might be overlooked. But if you go toxic and icy alchemist combo, you could have some amazing synergy. Because again, sure, this is 5 crit chance against enemies inside your caltrops, double if they're vulnerable. So 5 or 10 crit chance, but with this one, you deal cold damage, you chill enemies in caltrops, and then you can take advantage of this because this works even if they're chilled. It doesn't have to be frozen, and you can trigger this and this at the same time while you're doing the shadow imbue with that build. So definitely, I'm looking at some very fun stuff here. Okay, I'm liking this. So yeah, I'd rather go methodical caltrops this time for once to use it because this is the perfect opportunity to use methodical caltrops. So far, we've got 4 points for skills. I mean, 1 point. 10% chance remains, so 1 second should be enough. Maybe that's gonna be it. I could sacrifice the dodge. What do we have on a cooldown other than Shadow Trap and Caltrops? This one is on a cooldown. So we do have 3 things with cooldown. So Agile. This doesn't stack though, but 12% dodge chance. Let's say we sacrifice the Agile. We can get more of this one. Maybe just put 1 point in it. And yeah, this looks solid to me. Let's save it. Wait, did I copy this without the video? Is there no video attached to Rocky? Oh, it did have video. I just removed it and didn't remember. Okay, so yeah, this looks pretty solid in terms of skill points. What level was the Lycan Lacerator? 87. Now is the part, the fun part. Poison Nova helmet would work amazingly well instead of the Shaco. But the Shake we stood 2-0 ranks. So do we go 2-0 ranks or do we go Life Steal and Poison Novas? Tough choice to make. One of the toughest. Let's see now. This one is actually good for Fury. We'll see. I might leave it in the setup. Let's go to the uniques category. Take Druid, Rogue, I mean, take Rogue. And look for things that I like. Daggers like Condemnation, pretty good. Yeah, I like Condemnation a lot. This Kanjar is pretty solid as well. Gives basic skill damage though, and we're not building for basic skill, but not bad to have the basic skill being stronger anyways. And it will increase the attack speed for a few seconds, so we can just we can trigger this even with Flurry. I think it's nice, especially the movement speed after killing an elite and the wiki hit chance bonuses. Mm. Increase wiki hit chance against crowd control, pretty solid. And cooldown reduction. Cow of the Nameless for cooldown reduction. Does it say how much cooldown reduction it gets over here? Cow of the Nameless. Did they figure out the exact number? Where did they even put it? What the hell? I'm not seeing it. A B C C C. Maybe it's missing. Let me look it up with search. Ah, there it is. 1525 Waki hit chance against crowd controlled enemies, but that's it. They didn't put the rest of the bonuses. That crowd control reduction, we don't know exactly how much it is. But again, if we're talking helmets, it's probably better to get either Sheiko or Andario's Visage. I'm not sure if this one really would be 0, but for the sources, I used set 0. So it's as if it applies poison that doesn't do poison damage but triggers ticks and stuff. And makes enemies poisoned for the extra damage to poison and stuff like that. Okay, Ice in the Dark. Must have. Grasp of Shadow doesn't seem bad for this one. And this one is X ranks to core skills probably. So good damage to flurry. Okay, let's take the dagger first. Let's take this one. Condemnation. And then man, for rogue there are so many uniques that you can use for whatever build you want. Whereas for other classes, certain uniques just don't go well together with others. In this one, there's so many things I can combine. For example, I could wear this one dagger, then wear the second dagger, this one, and then have maybe that helmet or the Shaco, and that's already 3. And then with the pants 4, with the gloves 5, and then there's rings and amulets I can take obviously, but just from the rogue only stuff I can take 5 things. But I want to keep it to 4 as an option. Mars Embrace is not a bad one. I might add another one item here in the list, probably the Grasp of Shadows. This one is also nice. Frostburn would synergize very, very nicely with that one aspect. But if we overdo it with the legendaries, we won't have room for aspects. We don't want to, with the uniques, I mean, if we overdo it with the uniques, there won't be room for aspects. And we want this aspect, we want that aspect, and we definitely want the flurry aspect. Let's actually start adding them before I add more uniques. And then there's those things here that I've added that could also work amazingly well. I'll have to get rid of one of those things here. Probably vengeful. I'm not sure if 20-30% increased potency against vulnerable enemies would be that great. Because again, this only affects my imbuement. Not the imbued skills, but the imbuement itself. Which means this imbuement, this 40% damage to all surrounding enemies will be what? 20 to 30% stronger? So in the best case, if it's not in an amulet or a two-handed weapon, from 40% it will be even less than 10% extra. Actually, a little more than 10% extra. Still, I think we can just remove this one. Then I can do this. And if I have time, if I have room, I can return to it later. We have the four most important offensive aspects there. Okay. Anything else that I would want? Let's just add this here. I'm not sure what else would be great. This one won't be bad. Casting a skill that is imbued creates an explosion around you. Let's first decide at least one defensive skill would be needed. Hmm. This was for the volatile build. This one is more about traps. So yeah. Drop a cluster of stun grenades. Dodge the next 2 to 7 attacks within 10 seconds. Every 100 seconds though, so yeah. This one's actually pretty solid. Pretty solid to have this. And if you have an item that gives you your healing potion also gives you XYZ, Which let me double check what it was. So while injured, your potion also grants maximum life as barrier. While injured, your potion also restores resource and also grants movement speed. There's also potion capacity, cooldown, drop rate, and healing. Um, that means this one, Siphon Victuals, would be amazing. Maybe I'll check if they have the number here for an uncanny resilience. Expensive, right? Uncanny resilience. Maybe it's removed because I guess they might have removed it, or maybe this guy is missing it from his list. This one's another one that I can't find in other people's lists. So maybe those two got removed, or just people didn't. Not everyone got it probably. What time is it? 11:28. Shit, I don't have much time. Let's try and at least wrap up this build before it's too late. This one won't be bad. What did I use on my previous setups? I can't remember. I think I used this one. Again, it might be removed. Yeah, let's just do Siphon Victuals. Although potions have cooldown, so it's not that great. I'll just leave it be. Pick any. I'll say pick whatever you like here. There isn't anything that stands out to me as much from the ones that I'm 100% sure that exist. This one is okay. If any of those two existed, I'm not sure 100% about them. They're also amazing. This one's solid, and this one's not so bad, but such a massive cooldown. Perfectly fit. I wanted to write could, but it would have made it too long to fit in this little box here. Um, okay, let's see about that. We have a dagger. We have pants. Meaning, if I use this one, it's eventually gonna get replaced by the pants anyways. So we are using condemnation, ice in the dark, Harder King Rest Mother's Embrace. Condemnation. Let's put condemnation and mother's embrace in the setup. Condemnation, mother's embrace. Where's the other alchemist? Circling Blaze and Icy Alchemist. Okay, let's say we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 red is as much as I can get. But we'll probably get some resource related stuff. Oh, I like this one. And since I like this one, I'm changing something. I'm gonna use the stealth defensive skill. So this one gets replaced by this one. One is no longer an optional thing. In fact, you know what? Let's give this one as an optional thing and let's just put this one here. Because I want this to remain even after I get the unique pants. So this one will go in the... What are we not taking? We're not taking chest armor. I think this could go in the chest armor. No problem. So little disc, where did it go? Oh, it's the wrong category. One was siphoned victuals. Okay, siphoned victuals. Infiltrator. Infiltrator, where did it go? Infiltrator. 3 more SWATs. What do I feel those? I mean, obviously some of them will get replaced. Frostbitten, you know what? Frostbitten will work nicely because we do have some grenade stuff. Especially if we use explosive verve. No, actually, yeah, let's say we use this one and this one combined with our capstone skill would trigger. This one has chance to drop a stun grenade. But there was another way of getting a grenade to drop. Like, sure, this one, but we don't want that one. One would have been nice if it didn't require dash. Scout drops. There it is, Trickster. With Trickster, we can do that. And then when you break concealment, you drop a cluster. Okay, this is perfect. This is the synergy I've been looking for. Those three things will fill up nicely the remaining slots. So let's put this one over here. This is gonna be temporary extra bonus, but the rest of it will remain. The rest of it will remain certain degree. So Caltrops throws a cluster of grenades. Needed to get the whole thing. Um, the next one, when you break concealment, this is gonna be temporary, but it works nicely because again we have this extra stealth from that one here. Nicely there. Okay. Now let's decide where we put them. We have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly. We need to keep in mind the dagger is gonna get removed, and one of the rings is gonna get removed. So we put the stuff that's not as important there. I would say this one goes in the ring 2, which eventually ring 2 will be Mother's Embrace. Helmet, we have ideally the Sheiku, but some people might prefer half of the Nameless. Condemnation Dagger will go in the one-hand weapon slot, I guess, or in the off-hand. Maybe we can put it in the off-hand. Doesn't matter where it goes, as long as it's in one of the two slots. So that means you have to lose one more thing, and it might be... Okay, Frostbitten. Frostbitten will be temporary. It's gonna be temporary until we get the helmet. I think it's the best way to handle this. Temporary till we get the helmet. After that, no longer using that bonus, and that means Trickster could be removed eventually from here, and that whole synergy, this, and this. Um, Again, it's not in the final version, but before you get the uniques, it's good. Infiltrator. First of all, what do I want in my two-handed weapon? Something that I want to benefit from that increased damage. See, this one could become 60 to 100% chance. So I could have 100% chance if I put it in the 200 slot. But it might be a waste if I do that. Whereas if I increase Fury's damage, that might be a good thing. Then we can put Vast Trapper into the amulet for 50% bonus. Icy Alchemist is in the first weapon. Second weapon, Trickster. Then let's put Bursting Venoms. Wait, that's not... I copy pasted the wrong one. Just a moment. I wanted the second alchemist, the toxic alchemist or whatever it was called. This one goes here. You know what? Instead of putting this here, put it back there. So we have better cooldown for the traps. And with that, we have this sorted. Now let's start putting stuff where it belongs. Little Dusk in the chest. Did I already put it there? I didn't. Little Dusk. Chest. Amulet. Infiltrator. So we have Toxic Alchemist, Ring 1. Boots was Exploiter, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Exploiter. Then Blast Trapper in the Gloves. For the ranged weapon was Encircling Blades for the Fury. Perfect. Did I select those? Infiltrator, Trickster, Opportunist is selected here. Save. Share. And next is the Paragons. For the Paragons, I'll try to do it quickly. I mean, in 45 minutes, hopefully I can finish it. Double check if it works. Seems to do. Okay. Paragon boards now. This one gives more dex. This one gives a lot more int and willpower. And a lot more dex and strength. So if you're a barbarian, you would want to clear Skosglen altars before some of the other areas. If you're a quest that requires int, like a Sork or a Necro, you would want to go clear out the altars of Lilith in Dry Steppes first, probably. The same goes for willpower, Skosglen and Dry Steppes for druids, for example. Whereas for Dex, Kyrgyzstan is your choice of clearing first. Oh no, actually Skosglen and then Kyrgyzstan. Okay, now that we have this stuff here, over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 actually. Let me just double check some of the other boards I might wanna consider. Is there anything that's not repeating? I think everything is repeating. Okay, there is two boards that I'm missing here. I'm missing Keep Shot, which probably doesn't matter much for hmm. Well, I'm not sure I want to invest into this one much, but let's see what's here. Tricks of the trade. I've got tricks of the trade. Average bounty. I've got it in my info. Leriana. I don't have Leriana there. I'm not gonna go for a Leriana bonus, but some of the other stuff here is pretty solid and worth considering. But if you go Leriana, you would want to stack dodge, and stacking dodge means again, I only have 1 point into it. You would need to put some more points over here in agile. I don't want to rely on dodging. I don't want to even be hit in the first place. So, let alone having to rely on when I do get hit to get the dodge. But obviously the dodge is good, and this damage to elites is nice. I'll quickly double check on the stats of Leriana. Leriana, Leriana's what? What was it? Embrace? No, instinct. Leirana. Okay, what one is this? Strength. .34 strength. Intelligence 49. Oh, this is actually very good for an import. Top tier import. And probably 65 dex. 70 dex. Okay. This is a solid board for int such as canny, combat, control, and infusion. Normally for combat, I would go exploit weakness because it just it's nice, but this is an alternative choice. Good to know. And which is the other one that I'm missing? Stratagem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One is missing. Keep shot. Let's just check it. Thirty-nine strength. Forty-four int. Not bad. Another one with a solid amount of int. And what, 70 dex or 75 dex? So it has the most dex out of all boards. Okay. Start putting things into perspective. One of this one should go there. Combat. B. It would be here. Or here. Potentially I could put it here. What else could I use? Ambush. Ambush. Do I have? I have ambush here. Bane. Bane is good, but I don't need it. Closer. Throw. Got that one on the list. Devious. Diminish. Okay. Frost feeder works, but not that great for me. Infusion. I do want infusion. Snare. I want snare. It's int. How much is the number? 12.9797. Okay. Is damage to poison targets. What is tracker? Int. There's too much int. Fuck it. We won't go tracker. Turf. Damage to close targets. Turf. Where is it? Rent. Okay. So now we can just start picking out my boards and what goes into which board. Infusion and Infusion and Combat. Combat will be the first one I pick. Infusion might be the second one I pick. After that, maybe Closer or Turn. Turf, that shouldn't be Turn, that should be Turf. And then eventually Exploit, probably. So as a Dex one, probably we would go with Closer. But what do I have as a copy paste on my clipboard? Infusion. Start with Closer. Starting board with Dex, we have Closer. The second step would be Combat. For Combat, we have three potential ones. I think I'll go Exploit Weakness. If I'm not mistaken, it fits well. In terms of the bonuses around the cluster, this is the more important stuff is what I can find around the socket cluster. Exploit Weakness is the vulnerable stuff. Yes, it's lovely. I mean, I'm not gonna get Exploit Weakness itself, but the damage to elites. So Combat goes there, which means we leave Infusion to be here or here. In this one, we are putting, as I mentioned, Closer. Fusion. Most likely Leirana, because it seems to have better bonuses than Cheap Shot. Let's compare them again. Cheap Shot gives me damage to crowd control, which on bosses is pretty much useless until you get the boss to the down state. It's gonna be great for mobbing, but not as great on bosses. Whereas Leirana has damage to elites, which good for bosses, and then damage after dodging an attack. Again, you might wanna consider investing into some dodges. We won't take it for the damage after dodging, but yeah, okay, Leirana would be my intelligence board number 2. Just because I can get that extra 14.4% damage with Imbute. Because there's 49 versus 44 int. There's other ones with 44 int, but they are strength. They're good for strength, so I'd rather have exploit and turf. Actually, turf should be here. But turf is strength, so never mind. Never mind. That it was the right choice to get closer there. Closer or closer. Not sure which one of the two they mean. Gotta hate it when one word is spelled the exact same way as another, just different spelling, different pronunciation, same spelling, different pronunciation. Okay, so let's say infusion goes there and cheap shot. Cheap shot will be used for something else maybe, if I even get to it. So deadly ambush or no witnesses for exploit. No witnesses is pretty straightforward damage. I love this board. There's damage to healthy and crit strike damage on in the vicinity. There's lucky hit chance, attack speed. Yeah, I think this one should be the winner between no weaknesses and deadly ambush. Cap cooldown reduction is needed though, but it could be something we get later. So far we have 1, 2, 3. Let's say 4 if I go this way, and then 5 for another strength, such as turf. So if we put turf in deadly ambush and then no witnesses for exploit, I think it works. And that's our socket. One, two, three, four, 5 boards. We're ready to go now. It's midnight, so let's try and do this fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this was Dex. Take this then. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. And later we can return for this one and this one. Now we're looking for exploit weakness. Take this, then boom. Then boom, 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 boom. Is this, this, this. We want to be close to this to return later and to this to return later. 4 points cluster, 4 points cluster. And useful cluster, not a wasted cluster. Next was infusion with Leirana's instinct. Didn't I put infusion here? No, I did. You just see all the intelligence. Perspective 49, yeah, that's all of it. That means we are entering through here. Taking this one, taking that one. After this, we're taking this one, taking that one. Moving here, taking this, moving here, taking that. We're taking this. Mm. Instead of taking strength and then let's do it that way. We're at 71 points. We have still a long way to go. Next up is, well, turf. Turf is next before exploit, because turf, even if they're not vulnerable, they'll still take damage as long as they're close. And turf goes into deadly ambush. And that needs to be rotated. Coming this way. Actually, you know what? Let's do it that way. Here we want strength. So it means it's better to enter through here, maybe. Although if I enter through there, I would already be close to that one. Worth it. I'd rather enter through decks. I mean, people can obviously rework things. They could either take those 2 points or those two, depending if they need strength or dex. You're entering through here. We're taking this one. After that, we're taking this, then taking this and this and this. Actually, this. And the final board was no witnesses with exploit. Point we're looking at strength. That's actually the best rotation for me. I think it's the perfect rotation. Starting close to the crit. This, then taking the dex. Taking this and this. After that, we're on to this side, taking this. Then point here, point here. Normally that would have been from where we exit. Since we won't be exiting from this board, it's a final board. What we now is do this. That's level 90 rogue, or level 85 if you have 20 points from renown. And after this is filling, which we'll do in a moment. Just let me save. I couldn't make the third build. I couldn't make the barbarian build. I should have started streaming earlier. So I give myself, I underestimated how much time it would take me to figure all the stuff. But again, that other build I'll have to do off stream, the barbarian one. Which would have been maybe the Angry Berserker 2.0. So let's go back to finish this one. First of all, you need to do is do this. And as I mentioned, we need to return and take some stuff here. Let's take the important stuff first. One's too far to make it worth taking. On the other hand, far. I'm loving how this is turning out. Most of the stuff are extremely close, so I'm not wasting too many, as I like to call them, dead weight points. Like this, those are dead weight points, in my opinion. Sure, you do get stats, but the less white notes you have, the better in a setup. Unless the white points are in a cluster and they give you useful stuff, then I still consider them dead weight. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. It just fits like a fucking glove. It just fits like a glove. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters. 6 additional clusters with 3 to 4 note investments. Sometimes even one. This one is one dead weight. This one is 4 dead weight. Actually 3 dead weight. This one is 4 dead weight. One is for dead weight, and this one is for dead weight. This is just such a good scenario. I also filled up this board with a single dead weight point and then 2 more dead weight points, although this is blue, so not really dead weight. So yeah, I think this is squeezing the boards dry. We've got 70.5 attack speed, we got crit chance, the crit strike damage for core skills, the regular crit strike damage, cutthroat skills damage solid, overall damage bonus with everything. Damage after dodging an attack, the range reduction from elites, no, from enemies affected by a trap, damage to close enemies, damage to elites, again, damage to enemies affected by trap skills, healthy enemies, injured, vulnerable, dodge chance, we have 15.2, which is nice. Healing received, movement speed after killing elite, overpowered damage. I think we've got plenty of good stuff, even stuff like restore generation, also skill damage. Trap cooldown reduction, trap skill damage, vulnerable damage. We've got so much good stuff here. I'm very happy with this. Let's save it. And I managed to keep it a shadow trapper and still make the most out of it. Still keep it a useful shadow trap instead of having to go into poison trap. Into acid trap, into poison imbue. I wanted to keep it a shadow imbue rather than poison imbue because poison imbue is the obvious choice with trapper builds. But if you consider this thing, this synergizes well with the poison trap and having poison, but also having shadow imbue, and then having caltrops with chill to get this one going just opens up possibilities like that one, which again, this is not in the final setup. And again, people might want to even use Frostburn gauntlets to keep this one in the setup somehow and use Frostburn, or just so they can trigger this more often with the Frostburn gauntlets. There's many ways. I think this build might be something I try. This might be the first build I try playing when I switch to Rogue for my playthrough number 4. Because I'm probably gonna do Sork first to level 50 something. Then Necro or Druid, probably Druid. After that, Necro, if I do Druid first, Necro, if I do Necro first, then Druid. Number 4 probably would be my Rogue, and number 5 would be the Barbarian in the way I level them up. So when I do get to Rogue, I might decide to build this one. It will still depend if I get any uniques while leveling, and if yes, what types I get to build around. But this would be if it's just considering the legendary aspect, this is probably super fun because it's using some of my favorite skills, Death Trap and Fury. Um, those are my two top favorite skills in the first place from the Rogue. So it's 12:17 a.m. 17 past midnight. I need to go and cook stuff. I need to have my dinner. So that's gonna be it for tonight, for today. For tomorrow, I have no idea what I'll do, what I'll play, what I'll stream. Um, it will not be theory crafting though. We've done plenty of it for now. So that's gonna be it. Keep it cool. Thanks for watching me do that. If you need builds again, go to struckpub.xyz or visit my YouTube channel. I've got 22, just 3 more left until I have 5 for each class. Until next time, and goodbye from me.